Hello and welcome to Millennium Sports World. Today we will present local and international sports stories including MMA, golf, tennis, auto race, boxing, NFL, MLB, NBA and some more sports news. So let's explore today's sports world. Novak Djokovic climbed into the Rod Laver Arena stands to celebrate his 10th Australian Open Championship and record-tying 22nd Grand Slam title Sunday, and after jumping and pumping his fist with his team, he collapsed onto his back crying. When he returned to the playing surface, Djokovic sat on his sideline bench, buried his face in a white towel and sobbed some more. This trip to Australia was far more successful than that of a year ago, when he was deported because he was not vaccinated against COVID-19. Although difficult in its own ways, a bad hamstring, some off-court tumult involving his father. Yet Djokovic accomplished all he could have possibly wanted in his return. He resumed his winning ways at Melbourne Park and made it back to the top of tennis, declaring, "This probably is the, I would say, biggest victory of my life." Only briefly challenged in the final, Djokovic was simply better at the most crucial moments and beat Stefanos Tsitsipas 6-3, 7-6, 7-6. As a bonus, Djokovic will vault from number 5 to number 1 in the ATP rankings, a spot he already has held for more weeks than any other man. Katerina Siniakova and Barbora Krejcikova have extended their Grand Slam tournament winning streak to 24 matches with a 6-4, 6-3 win over Japan's Shuko Aoyama and Ina Shibahara to win the Australian Open women's doubles title on Sunday. It was the 7th Grand Slam doubles title by the Czech pair, who broke their Japanese opponent's serve in each of the first games of the sets. The Czech players owned last year's Australian Open, Wimbledon and US Open doubles titles. "A big thanks to my partner Barbora," said Siniakova. "I'm so happy we did it again. It was a nice journey." Krejcikova said there was a lot of hard work behind the winning streak. Aoyama and Shibahara were appearing in their 10th final together and first at a Grand Slam tournament. 1 point away from her first Grand Slam title, Aryna Sabalenka faltered, and then she faltered again. She grimaced, she yelled and turned her back to the court. She wiggled her shoulders and exhaled. Clearly, this business of winning the Australian Open was not bound to happen without a bit of a struggle Saturday night. Sabalenka knew deep inside that would be the case. She also knew that all of the effort she put in to overcome self-doubt and those dreaded double faults had to pay off eventually. Just had to. And so, as she wasted a second match point by flubbing a forehand and a third by again missing another, Sabalenka did her best to stay calm, something she used to find quite difficult. She hung in there until a fourth chance to close out Elena Rybakina presented itself, and this time Sabalenka saw a forehand from her similarly powerful foe sail long. That was that. The championship belonged to Sabalenka via a 4-6, 6-3, 6-4 comeback victory over Wimbledon winner Rybakina. The Australian pair of Rinky Hijikata and Jason Kubler defeated Hugo Nys and Jan Zielinski 6-4, 7-6 to win the men's doubles title at the Australian Open on Saturday. It was the first Grand Slam title for both Hijikata and Kubler, the third Australian team to win a men's doubles title in the last 5 Grand Slams. The Australians entered the tournament playing for the first time as a team. "Rinky and I definitely didn't think this was happening 2 weeks ago," Kubler said. "A bit of a pleasant surprise, I should say." Kubler, who has battled knee injuries, said Hijikata approached him about playing together. "Rinky was actually the reason we teamed up for this tournament," Kubler explained. "I wasn't sure I was going to play. Then Rinky asked me and I decided to play. 2 weeks later, now we have got this trophy." Nys and Zielinski were also after their first Grand Slam title. Mohamed Usman made quite an impact with his stunning knockout over Jack Pauga to become the Ultimate Fighter season 30 champion, but that win came at a cost. It turns out Usman suffered a broken thumb during the fight, but he still managed to use that same hand to land the punch that put Pauga away just 36 seconds into the second round. It wasn't until later that he realized his hand was actually injured, which then required him to undergo surgery to repair the damage done. I just went back to training, but not too many people know. I had surgery on my thumb after the last fight, Usman told MMA Fighting. My thumb broke during that fight, but you don't feel any of that until the adrenaline wears off. They did an MRI and I ended up breaking my thumb and they had to reattach it with 3 screws. So that's why people haven't seen me back in the octagon, because I had to have surgery on my thumb, put some screws in there, let it heal, and I had to get the screws removed. I have been back to training, been back in camp, so I am feeling amazing now. Just ready to get back in that cage. According to Usman, hand injuries are nothing new to him, especially after playing football for most of his life, including his stint in college at the University of Arizona. Putting 3 screws into his thumb is probably the most invasive procedure he has ever had done, but Usman says the gnarliest injury actually came from a football game he played in high school. UFC veteran and current BKFC fighter Jimmy Rivera is now a police officer in his home state of New Jersey. Rivera confirmed the news on Thursday when he reposted a social media announcement from the Elmwood Park Police Department that he completed 27 weeks of law enforcement training at the Passaic County Police Academy. The 33-year-old is excited to be a part of positive change in his area. Thing has been a very tough and challenging journey, working 6 days a week teaching, training and going to the police academy, with Sunday the only day of having family time, Rivera stated. But the dust has settled and I am officially a police officer. Someone said, you want to make a change, you have to be the change. Can't wait to get out there and be that change. As far as his fighting career goes, Rivera told MMA Fighting on Friday that he will continue competing for BKFC and expects to return to the ring in March against an opponent to be announced at a later date. Rivera's final UFC appearance took place at UFC Vegas 20 in February 2021, when he dropped a unanimous decision to Pedro Munhoz. El Terror competed inside the octagon 11 times, compiling a 7-4 record before parting ways with the promotion and signing with BKFC. In his promotional debut, Rivera fought to a draw against Howard Davis at BKFC 26 this past June. Israel Adesanya will attempt to get his title back in a 4th fight against rival Alex Pereira this spring. Pereira will defend the middleweight championship against Adesanya in the co-main event of UFC 287 on April 8, UFC President Dana White announced Friday. George Masvidal will return against Gilbert Burns in the other co-main event, while popular welterweight Kevin Holland will take on Santiago Ponzinibbio on the main card, White said. A location for UFC 287 has yet to be announced. Pereira has beaten Adesanya twice in kickboxing and knocked him out last November in the 5th round of their first MMA fight against one another at UFC 281 to win the belt. Adesanya is number 4 in ESPN's pound-for-pound rankings. Pereira is 4-0 in the UFC with 3 victories via TKO. The Brazilian-born fighter, who trains out of Connecticut, only started his full-time MMA career in 2020. Pereira was once one of the best kickboxers in the world, holding glory titles at middleweight and light heavyweight. Former two-sport queen Stamp Fairtex is bringing her fighting skills and dance moves to the United States for One Championship's first live event in the country. The Thai superstar is scheduled to face American dynamo Alice Lil Savage Anderson in a pivotal women's atomweight clash at One Fight Night 10, which broadcast live from the First Bank Center in Broomfield, Colorado on May 5. Just weeks after defeating Anna Supergirl Jermsak in a strawweight kickboxing contest via razor-close split decision. The 25-year-old Thai will officially renew her chase for MMA gold and do the stamp dance on American soil. Stamp, the former one atomweight kickboxing and Muay Thai world champion, has brilliantly applied her elite striking skills to mixed martial arts competition and has rapidly developed her ground game at the Fairtex Training Center in Pattaya, Thailand. Since making her debut in the all-encompassing sport 4 years ago, the Thai has compiled a 9-2 record. Along the way, she won the one Women's Atomweight World Grand Prix in 2021 and earned the #1 contenders spot in the rankings. Though she failed to Angela Lee in her one Women's Atomweight World Title Challenge in March 2022, she bounced back with a huge win over Malaysia's Jihin Radzan 6 months later. Now she looks to build momentum toward a rematch with the Singaporean-American queen. Anderson, however, will attempt to stop the Thai superstar in her tracks and pick up the biggest victory of her MMA career in front of her compatriots. Max Homa did what his beloved Los Angeles Dodgers couldn't do in October, win in San Diego. The LA area native came from 5 shots off the lead to win the Farmers Insurance Open by 2 strokes over Keegan Bradley on Saturday at Torrey Pines, where John Ram imploded early and missed a shot at winning his 3rd straight start and moving to #1 in the world. Homa reeled in Sam Ryder, who was trying for a wire-to-wire win, and then held off Bradley and Colin Morikawa for his 6th PGA Tour victory and 4th in his home state. He took the Genesis at Riviera in 2021 and has won the Fortinet Championship in Nampa in consecutive years. Homa closed with a 6 under 66 to finish at 13 under 275. He made a 4-foot birdie putt on number 18 and pumped his right fist before greeting wife Lacey and infant son Cam just off the green. Homa was born in Burbank and lives in Valencia, just north of LA. He played collegiately at California. Top-ranked Rory McIlroy and rival Patrick Reed were 2 shots off the lead at the halfway point of the Dubai Desert Classic on Saturday. Richard Bland, Thomas Pieters and amateur Mikael Thorbjornsen all reached 10 under overall at Emirates Golf Club for a share of the lead after 2 rounds of the weather-impacted tournament, which will conclude Monday. Thorbjornsen, who is #2 in the world amateur rankings, shot an 8 under 64. He started on the 10th and birdied 5 of his first 6 holes before chipping for an eagle at the par 5 18th. He added a bogey and 2 more birdies. "I enjoy playing professional golf a lot and I am still an amateur," the Stanford University junior said, "but just the golf courses that we play, the crowd out there, it's what I am dreaming of ever since I was 5 or 6 years old." Peters recorded 7 birdies on the back 9 to close out his 67. Brian Herta wants to enter Robert Wickens in the Indianapolis 500 as early as 2024, a year longer than preferred as work continues on the hand controls needed for the paralyzed driver. Wickens suffered a spinal cord injury in a crash at Pocono Raceway in his 2018 IndyCar rookie season. He has worked as a driver coach for the Arrow McLaren IndyCar team since, but last year with Brian Herta Autosport and Hyundai, he returned to racing in the IMSA Michelin Pilot Challenge. The 33-year-old Canadian won a pair of races driving a Hyundai Elantra NTCR that is fitted for weekends to race strictly through hand controls. Herta said Thursday that perfecting that technology for an IndyCar in the biggest race in the world has slowed the project he has determined to do with Wickens. "I would love to take Robbie back to Indy because I know he could do that and I think that would be a next step for him in his journey," Herta said. "We have spent a lot of time looking at the logistical side of things, hand controls, and I think we have solutions for that." Herta said Honda has been supportive of the process. Boxing fearsome WBO, WBC and IBF light heavyweight champion Arthur Beterbiev went to war with Anthony Yarde in London. Yarde hurt Beterbiev in an impressive challenge, but ultimately the champion prevailed with a stoppage victory in the 8th round. Arthur Beterbiev defended his unified WBC, WBO and IBF light heavyweight titles with an 8th-round stoppage victory over Anthony Yarde at London's Wembley Arena. This world title fight was a tremendous, bruising battle. Boxing in his hometown, the challenger started brightly, moving lightly on his feet as he sought to catch Beterbiev with his left hook and the occasional hard right. In the 8th round, Beterbiev found the finishing shots. He stunned Yarde with a short right and put him down with a hook. Yarde rose, but he was badly hurt, and the referee stepped in to end it at 2 minutes 1 second. Beterbiev's impressive professional record now stands at 19 wins and 19 knockouts, and he had words of encouragement for Yarde after the fight. Olympic silver medalist Ben Whittaker intends to return to boxing with a bang early in 2023. The light heavyweight star dazzled on his professional debut in July. In front of a frenzied crowd, he showboated dancing round Greg O'Neill in their first round before he leveled his opponent with a one-punch finish in the second. In August, he outpointed the previously unbeaten Peter Nosek over 6 rounds to win his second professional contest. Since then, however, he has been sidelined with an injury. But Whittaker promises he will be back with a bang and is hoping to secure a fight date in March. He will travel to Miami to go into camp with trainer Sugar Hill Stewart. Since my last fight, I had a bit of time off. I had a bit of a niggle, but I have been in the gym now. I'm training hard. I'm developing a lot of my strength. The strength is probably the best it's been so far, so I'm really happy about that, Whittaker said. He scarcely had 2 weeks between his first and second pro fights, a mistake he does not intend to repeat again. Damar Hamlin released a video Saturday in which he says he is thankful for the outpouring of support and vows to pay it back, marking the first time the Buffalo Bills safety has spoken publicly since he went into cardiac arrest and needed to be resuscitated on the field in Cincinnati on January 2. Noting he continues to make much progress in his recovery, Hamlin said now was the right time to speak since the Bills season ended and because he needed time to recover and gather his thoughts. It was just a lot to process within my own self, mentally, physically, even spiritually. It's just been a lot to process, he said, but I can't tell you how appreciative I am of all the love, all the support and everything that's just been coming in my way. Hamlin then said he has come to peace with what happened on the field when he collapsed after making what appeared to be a routine tackle of Bengals wide receiver T. Higgins, who struck Hamlin squarely in the chest. What happened to me on Monday Night Football, I feel, is a direct example of God using me as a vessel to share my passion and my love directly from my heart with the entire world, he said. Hamlin did not appear to have any troubles speaking during the 5.5-minute video titled "Thank You," a message from Damar Hamlin, posted on his Instagram account. The video opens with Hamlin walking into view, placing down a jacket and taking a seat in what appears to be one of the Bills team meeting rooms. The room is dimly lit with the word Bills prominently displayed behind him. Hamlin is wearing a white t-shirt with the name of his charitable foundation, Chasing Millions, printed on the front and with a gold chain with the initials DM hanging around his neck. Jalen Hurts and Brock Purdy could be primed for a shootout in the NFC Championship game. It's the first time Hurts, the league MVP finalist for the Philadelphia Eagles, and Purdy, the Mr. Irrelevant rookie sensation for the San Francisco 49ers, have matched up in the NFL. And it's a doozy with a spot in the Super Bowl at stake. But the two young quarterbacks have gone head-to-head before, in a game that was among the best in the 2019 college football season. Hurts passed for 3 touchdowns and ran for 2 more scores for Oklahoma, and Purdy passed for 5 touchdowns for Iowa State. Purdy's number 9 Sooners came out on top, 42-41 on November 9, 2019 in Norman, Oklahoma. It was almost like you had to score every single time you had the ball, Purdy recalled this week. His stint with the Cyclones had a story that has pretty much been replicated in San Francisco. As a freshman in 2018, Purdy played so well, so quickly that incumbent starter sophomore Zeb Nolan decided to play elsewhere just a month into the season. Purdy took over in the fifth game of the season and led the Cyclones to a 7-2 record and a trip to the Alamo Bowl. He was the first true freshman quarterback to start a game for Iowa State since 1995 and finished with the team bowl record 315 yards passing against Washington State in the bowl game. Georgia quarterback Stetson Bennett, who led the Bulldogs to their second straight national championship, was arrested early Sunday after police said he was intoxicated and banging on doors. Bennett, 25-year-old, was charged with public intoxication and taken to the city detention center, Dallas police said. Police said that at about 6:10 a.m., officers responded to reports of a man banging on doors. The location given by police was a community of townhomes near downtown Dallas. Last week, Bennett told reporters that he would be training for his pro career in Fort Worth, Texas, which is about 30 miles west of Dallas. It was unclear whether he had been released from the detention center. Earlier this month, Bennett threw 2 touchdown passes and ran for 2 scores in the first half as number 1 Georgia demolished number 3 TCU 65-7 to win the college football playoff national championship. Lakers guard Patrick Beverley grabbed a courtside camera in an effort to show referee Eric Lewis what everyone who had watched the replay already knew. LeBron James was fouled on his missed layup at the end of regulation. Instead of getting the call, Beverley drew a technical foul that gave Boston the lead to start overtime, and the NBA leading Celtics went on to beat Los Angeles 125-121 on Saturday night. The best player on earth can't get a call. It's amazing, Lakers coach Darvin Ham said. As much as you try not to put it on the officiating, it's becoming increasingly difficult. Jaylen Brown scored 37, completing a timed 3-point play with 4.1 seconds left in regulation and adding 11 more points in overtime to help the Celtics snap a 3-game losing streak. Brown added 9 rebounds. Jason Tatum had 30 points and 11 rebounds, and Malcolm Brogdon scored 15 of his 26 points in the second half of a seesaw game that had 19 lead changes, 6 in the fourth quarter and 15 ties. James had 41 points, 9 rebounds and 8 assists, but it was his missed layup at the end of regulation that enraged him on the court and left him simmering at his locker afterward. The New York Yankees have agreed to a 1-year contract with Gleyber Torres, avoiding an arbitration hearing with the infielder. The team announced the deal on Sunday. The 26-year-old Torres hit .257 with 24 homers and 76 RBIs in 140 games for the AL East champions last year. Torres had asked for a raise from $6.25 million to $10.2 million in arbitration, and the Yankees offered the second baseman $9.7 million. Torres made his big league debut with New York in 2018. The two-time All-Star is a .265 hitter with 98 homers and 310 RBIs in 576 career games. A shake of the head, lips pouting, but then all smiles. Mikaela Shiffrin was quick to take the positives after realizing she had to wait for at least 5 more weeks before tying the World Cup record for most career wins with victory number 86. The American skier finished runner-up to Germany's Lena Dürr in a slalom Sunday, the last World Cup race before the World Championships, and remained 1 victory short of Ingemar Stenmark's total on the all-time overall winners list among men and women. The Swede competed in the 1970s and 80s. Life has changed me, but I feel my skiing has improved over the last years, Shiffrin said, and I am maybe a better skier than I have ever been in my life, and that's pretty cool. Even though it didn't happen Sunday, Shiffrin has returned to winning races at a similar pace to that of the 2018-19 season. She racked up a record 17 victories that year and has already picked up 11 wins from 23 starts in the current season, including 3 in the past 6 days. Shiffrin's next chance to break Stenmark's record will be in March when she resumes World Cup racing after the February 6 to 19 Worlds in France. World Championship races do not count toward World Cup wins. That's all in today's sports world. Keep watching Millennium Sports World for latest sports updates. Millennium TV US and Millennium News 24 network is transmitted and available to be watched free for all at TVs such as Sony, Samsung, LG, Roku TV, Amazon TV and Apple TV. And also in all European countries and Australia available with Sky Network, Worldwide Jago TV, Radiant IPTV, Worldwide Jago BD Network and Horizon Satellite globally. Stay connected with us for all types of informative and entertainment program. Thank you.